Hello and welcome back to another Toronto video. In today's one, we're at the Timothy the Shredder issue number 3, and yeah, so this one, I must admit, so far, looking at the preview stuff, it seems like it's going to be a really interesting one, and I'd say that so far, I've been really enjoying the Shredder main series, or like ongoing series I think it is now, so yeah, I mean I'd say that overall, loving it so far, and this issue I feel like is really just going into like what makes the series so great, and yeah, so this issue we're going to be first starting off with Shredder. He's going over to his tech company after he got the information from King Cobra in the last issue, and now he's gone over to this company called Chincha, I think that's how you say the name. And yeah, so on the first page, we do get to see Shredder. He's sitting in like a waiting room, and we do get to see a person come over and ask him if their flight was comfortable. And Shredder goes on to complain about how First Club has the quality's dipped down in the last few years, just because now it's serving cement, no, not cement. I don't know how I say that word. Rather than champagne, and he's asking him to if like the standards are really that low in Europe, and yeah, they have. So after we do get to see the lady. She goes on to say that Mr. Benton will be out shortly, and she asks if Shredder will like anything, but he just stands there and just says nothing, looking out the window. And the reason why he's looking out the window is just because he can see, I think it's Avalon. I think that's how you say her name. I don't know. It's been ages since I read the last issue, and yeah, so basically she goes on, and she's like she's on a rooftop on the next building over, so that she can look down and see what's happening with Shredder and all that kind of stuff. And she does go on to question Shredder's like name because in the meeting he goes on to call himself Tai-san. However, she goes on to question this just because that's in his real name and that kind of stuff. And she wonders if basically Shredder's like using like a fake name, or if he'd gone on to kill someone and taken on their identity and all that kind of stuff. Because it does seem suspicious that now he's basically what's the word I'm trying to look for. Like he's like invested in a tech company, and she's like wondering why, considering that he's like a foot ninja from like Japan and that kind of stuff, and like considering that this is like was feudal Japan and that kind of stuff. It does seem very suspicious and that kind of stuff, and rightfully so as well. And we do get to see Mr. Benton. He comes in, says sorry for the delay. Now on the next page, we do get to see things does get a little bit more interesting, just because Shredder's he's there, and the man's like basically saying that it's not really a great time for Shredder to come down, have a tour and that kind of stuff. And he goes on and says that, oh yeah, we can just go have lunch and go on a plane to fly over there. What the hell? Who goes on a plane for lunch? Or like at least fly over to somewhere for lunch? Who does that? But yeah, after that we do get to see Shredder. He gets a little bit upset about this, and he goes on to say that basically the pretense is already redundant, and Mr. Benton says very sorry because he doesn't really understand what's happening. Now on the next page we do get to see Shredder. This is where things does get a bit more interesting, because he goes on and says stuff about like when people get scared and they start to swear, and it starts to cause like a different like kind of odor and that kind of stuff. And you can only sense it or basically realize it or stuff like that if you like know it well enough and that kind of stuff. And Shredder, he somehow does. And he's saying that everyone's building, it reeks of it and all that kind of stuff. And he goes on and says that he knows about the Mourner. He knows that, the Mourners are using these people and that kind of stuff. And he wants him to give up the information so that he knows how to sabotage the device. Somewhat smart. However, why reveal all this stuff when you're talking to people who are working for her? That seems a bit stupid, but either way, then for the final page, he goes on, Mr. Benton, he goes on to reveal stuff, saying that basically he shouldn't understand, basically Shredder doesn't understand everything and all that kind of stuff, and they can't really talk about it here. And the reason for this is just because, work keeps coming in and that kind of stuff, and he needs things to be, keep going normal, and he also needs test subjects so that he can go on to do his device and that kind of stuff. And Shredder asks who needs these people, and Mr. Benton reveals that it's him, and then that's out of nowhere. A portal opens up, a lady comes through and says that Mr. Benton is test subject number 84, and he gets kidnapped. Now we don't know who this lady is. I was thinking that maybe it could be the Mourner, but I doubt it, just because why would someone in the lab try and steal someone. That doesn't really make sense because in fact she's more of a ninja. So yeah, so I don't know who this person could be. This could be interesting, but I guess we'll wait and see about that. But yeah, I mean, I have to say that overall this stuff, oh god, the story is getting more interesting and more exciting. I just can't wait to see where this goes next. It's just, oh, it's really great to see Shredder finally going back to more of his darker ways, and they're finally actually giving us good tell stories again. Is such a rare time to be alive, really, considering that everything's happened with like the cancellation of Tell movies, and now just got like stuff that's actually good, like with this and the Kes Jones story. Like, oh god, this is just amazing. Great time to be alive. But yeah, I mean, I'd say that this is really going in a really great direction, which I'm very curious to see where this could be going. The one thing which I will say though, however, is that this whole story so far, it does feel like it's rushing things a lot, but not in like a bad way. It's just that they're cutting out a lot of the unnecessary stuff, like Shredder going on a plane to like Europe and that kind of stuff. But it just feels like it's just, you know, taking, you know, considering like the first issue, he was teaming up with the police, and now all of a sudden he's going around the world trying to find the Morn and that kind of stuff. It just seems like it's rushing things, but in like a good way. I just feel like had more issues, stuff like that, they could maybe expand upon some of this stuff to at least drag some bits out and make it not seem so rushed. But I just love this so much so far. So for the description for this issue, it is: the Shredder quest to find the rogue foot soldier Ramona takes him to Europe, where she is rumored to have procured some top secret technology from a very distant place, Dimension X, to use the mysterious device she's constructing. For what purpose? Only Ramona knows for sure, but it's the one that Shredder is determined to undermine at all costs. So yeah, I mean, with this description, there isn't really too much I can really say about it. It's just, I mean, yeah, but don't really go on to reveal much really. Just a lot of basic stuff which we already know. Yeah. Okay, so for the covers, and oh god, they really outdone themselves this time. So for cover A, which is done by Matteo Santoloco, it's just him standing in front of the portal that was the one that was taking Mr. Benton. I don't really have too much to really say about it other than just that. I mean, the colours, the art style, it's all just top notch. It's all just perfect. I just love it. Yeah, I wish I had more to say about this one, but unfortunately I don't. Now, for cover B, which is done by Michael Badini, who's doing the artwork for this issue, we get to see Shredder. He's walking out with like a shadow kind of thing, and he's just there in the black background, and oh god, this is just beautiful. I'm pretty sure it was an homage to, was it like issue 10 or 11 with the Shredder from the RW stuff from like the first ongoing series back in, what, 2012, 2011? So yeah, I mean, again, it's beautiful. Now for cover C, which is a bit unusual one, this one's done by Dyke Run, I think that's how you say your name, where it's just Oroko Saki sitting in a chair, and it does give like a lot of like K-pop kind of vibes and like anime kind of vibes to it, which surprisingly I think it works really well for Shredder, surprisingly. But I don't have really too much to really say about this. It's a bit unusual and a bit weird to see Shredder looking like this, considering that it's the Shredder and everything that we know what he's done in this universe and stuff like that, and now it's just looking like this where he's younger. Yeah, it's just so weird, but I like it. I think like it works really well because it's a Shredder and it's Turtles, stuff like that. But I feel like had this been like Casey or April, stuff like that, then I feel like this anime kind of style wouldn't work well with him. But like, it just looks, it looks good here. So yeah. Oh boy, but yeah, let me know in the comment section below what do you think about this issue. Are you looking forward to it? Are you not? And yeah, that's game for today, guys. Isn't please just grab that stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.